So Bob has to hold his hand and right
Yeah, I'm a little bit muffled, but they can hear me. Okay, great. Well, sorry, you guys. I have no idea what's happening with our sound, but you know what? We're making it work. So thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
Okay, so yes, you were saying how I had been sharing with you that life changes quickly sometimes. And is that as far as you had gotten, or what had you said?
No, that's as far as I've gotten. But I
Okay.
want to introduce Bob to the audience. When
Yes.
he was 3, and we came home from church on Sundays, and I was making not pancakes, waffles for the family, and he was trying to get my attention, and I finally said, "Oh, Bobby, I can't do anything. I've just got 2 hands." And he says, "I wished you was an octopus." So today, I think what was happening was the octopus was getting in the way of everything else that we were trying to do, okay?
Oh, and you know what? I think it might be kind of interesting for Bob. Why don't you just quickly share with everybody what it is that you do?
Sure. I guess I can rotate this a little bit from the side. Not really. Here we are. Hi. Right now I'm delightfully engaged in helping Mom get her book to become a worldwide bestseller. So that's a lot. That's like a full-time job. And then I have another full-time job in that I have 37 years ago, I founded a nonprofit in Austin, Texas called the Human Potential Center. And so I'm executive director of that. That's my second full-time job. My third full-time job is I'm also executive director of the International Association for Humanistic Psychology. So I'm busy and having a blast, having a great time. 2 years ago, in the middle of COVID, I just turned 70, and the Human Potential Center just turned 35. So with exactly half my life. And I thought, that's a really cool thing. But then I didn't get to really celebrate it because COVID. But anyway, so it's now 37 and 72, but what can you do? Here's Mom.
Cool. Well, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
And now you're the premier phone holder for said Instagram Live.
That's right.
So the whole idea of relocating or repositioning or refocusing is part of the actual juice of our lives, you know. That what I have found is that when I've had to, well, I've always had a focus on something that I thought was important for me to do, but when I couldn't do that, or it was shifted, or something happened so that I felt like I was floating in space.
Mm-hmm.
What was really important for me to learn was that I was being given was a new opportunity to refocus on what it was that what I was trying to live, what I was reaching for, what it was that was really important in my life, so that I could share it with the people that I was able to communicate with at the time. But the important thing was for me to get hold of what it was that I had that was important, that it was really worth sharing.
Mm. So do you think that in all of those moments when you had to, you know, when something shifted like that for you, it was a redefining moment for you to redefine, where am I headed? Is that what I'm just sort of reiterating, because that's what's in my head, of redefining what's important, where am I headed, what's my new goal, and all of those things.
refocusing on what it was, because day and night, months change, years change, life
Right.
changes, so that the focus shifts. It's almost like a different lenses put into our glasses, and now it's our not obligate, that's our joy or our opportunity to reach past where is that looks like we're blocked, because this is a real good place to get blocked, and it can happen quickly, just overnight, or it can be dragged on and just gradually move so that it takes over our life and all of a sudden we feel stuck. But the important thing is, if we can recognize that we're stuck, to find the way out of that by reaching for the light, reaching for what it is that really is what we're looking for. And Katie, as we were talking about this earlier, I think that's what's happening with you.
I agree, and I feel like the art medicine certification program that I am in the middle of has been a real aha and awakening for me back into my creative sense of self, like that creative vision that I have inside of myself, and how that can be used in a healing modality. And so now I have the opportunity to create a new space that gives me the ability to actually have an art space attached to my chiropractic space, and it will truly be Healing Arts Collective. So it's,
So explain that to me.
the art medicine.
How is it going to be different or whatever?
So the art medicine, like the retreat that I taught a couple weekends ago, is really using the art and creative process to move you through a portal of transition. And that transition can be anything. It could be going from, a job, a marriage, kids leaving the home, like whatever transition anybody's working through, health issues, all those things. And so it's an 11-layer process using paint as the vehicle. So we're painting on very big pieces of paper, like 4 by 6 feet. And you're writing your intention, and then you are putting a layer of the essence of the intention. And then you're creating an actual portal or an opening with lines. And then you're creating sacred geometry around that portal to support the transition through. And then you start filling it in with color. And so every layer, there's an 11-layer process. Every layer has an intention that I'm guiding people through so that we can get to this other place. And so I use guided meditation to facilitate the process. And it was amazing. I mean, I only taught my first workshop 3 weekends ago, and it was so powerful and empowering for me to step in as a leader in that way. And yeah, it was really great.
Well, and then just think about how the universe stepped into your life and said, okay, if you do it on paper, let's see what you could do in real life.
Well, and that's exactly it. So while I was teaching the workshop, I was also creating my own portal of transition, and it was my intention was to step in a bigger way as a leader. And so, and then 2 weeks later, I get this news that I have to move out. It's like, well, hello, thank you so much.
And it's a new moon.
And it's a new moon tomorrow, which I was just going to share with you because it's so perfect. So the new moon is in dynamic creative Leo. aligned with the new Venus cycle and asking you to do just that. Launch yourself in a new way. This new moon invites you to listen to those new or not so new creative urges coming up from the depths of your soul. It's calling you to discover your pleasure principle and inspiring you to follow your creative passion and honor your heart. Perfect.
So there.
Yeah, amazing how the universe lines up. And so in that, even though I do know that it's all divinely guided, there's still that level of, wow, this feels pretty groundless. I do have faith, I do trust, but I don't know what's going to show up. So it's that piece you were talking about where you're sort of floating.
Yeah. You know, you don't know what's coming next because it's coming next. It's not here.
Right. And
know?
I think that float part, you know, it would be so easy to, it's kind of like, you know, grabbing the side of the pool when maybe you don't feel super comfortable being in the middle of a swimming pool.
Uh-huh.
And you're always going to just grab to the side because it's that safety zone rather than, let me lay on my back and float here for a minute and see what happens. And so it's the allowing myself to float in the middle and not grasping for this safety.
And Katie, it's not blaming the other person for
Right.
your disruption. It's so
Right.
easy to get sidetracked when something like this happens. I mean, you've been going along, you've been working at this office and it's work, I think patients know it and you know it and all of that. And all of a sudden, this disruption comes in from something that controls what it is that you were working with and
Right.
just throws it into the universe. And you then have to find out what it is that you're really looking for. I love your concept of floating in the pool, because what you're doing when you're floating in the pool is looking for the light. You're looking for the sky. You're looking for the new moon. You're looking for, you know, you're reaching for the light instead of hanging on to the edge and then getting upset because whatever it was or whoever it was that messed you up at that point, it was, you know, it was mean and horrible and all that kind of stuff, which just takes you down into the depths.
Right. And I think that that's an easy place to go for a
Oh,
lot. It's so much easier to blame somebody else and just be the victim and like, oh, aren't I justified in feeling the way that I feel because they did something bad to me, or, you know, however that rolls. And that just doesn't get anybody anywhere.
and the fact is that something that happened to you was bad. I mean, you know, you're not looking for it like that, but in
Right.
context of good and bad things that happen to us, that's the kind of thing that is disruptive, and the reasons for it and so on are just not in it. They're not in accord with what you are doing. And
Right.
so, you know, you're just moved out of it.
Right. Yeah, so it's just so interesting. And again, like I said to you, you know, that initial, if I go back to using the analogy of the pool, it's like that initial moment when you're thrown into the middle of the pool feels really panicky and it feels really scary, and you have like this pit in your gut and you're like, oh my God, am I going to sink or am I going to swim? You know, or am I going to grasp? And so, you know, that did not feel fantastic. And then I just kind of had to sit with that and actually went for a big swim. I went for 2 big swims because that's how I get, you know, my mind to just do what it does. And
I love that, Katie. I love that. I got to do what it does. That's a great statement.
Well, do you know when I was little and we lived on Calle del Medio down the street from you,
Yeah.
and we did have a pool in our backyard, and one of the things that my mom, it used to freak her out because I like to float face down.
Ah,
Hold my breath for a very long time. And so she would look over and I would be face down and my blonde hair would be like out like a dandelion, and she would be so panicked. And then I would just pop my head up and say, "What's the matter? I'm fine," you know? So water has always been, floating in water has always been a good place for me.
so isn't it wonderful when we find the place
Mm.
and can understand it? And some of us have found it when we were little, and some of us need to wait until they're 93, you know?
Well, you know, that's the other thing, is that it's so easy to go down the path of, and you're going to laugh when I say this, because you're 102 and I'm 61, and I could say, God, I'm 61 and I'm having to move my office again. And when am I ever going to get it right? And, you know, and it's just when, and then I use you as an example, and I'm like, come on, Katie. Gladys kept on going. She didn't find her voice until she was 93. And, you know, there's no age thing here. It's just irrelevant. But we can, you know, if we buy into the societal whatever, I don't want to say norm, but the way that society portrays it all, you know, I should be retiring now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and you know, the beautiful thing is that Jesus gave me my voice back.
That is a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So anyway, it's that flow of life, the stream of life, the way one thing leads into another, and it's our choice, our challenge, our whatever it is that is calling us to continue living in a way that reaches to not just to other people, but to the depth of our own being, which is so important in the process of reaching to others, because we'd better be grounded in what it is that we're understanding, and the way it's understanding about the way life flows. It's a good thing for us to be grounded in that, in order that we can actually affirm it. You know, no, this is real. This is life, and it's an ongoing living process.
Well, and so that's interesting when you say, you know, it's so powerful to find your place, your space, like for me, the water. But I also think it's, as we laughed about, it's no surprise that all of this started shifting for me as I started doing this art medicine program.
Right.
And that is tapping into a well that is deep within me, that is a very, very powerful, and it feels like a very safe place. Yeah.
And for me, it was finding my own voice, which I had been using right along, but I kept deflecting because I didn't trust it. But when I actually got to the point that I could say, well, yes, this is what I, not just what I mean, but this is who I am.
Interesting. Yeah, that is a powerful place to be when you can, like, I feel like I just saw this image of you, you know, just standing there strong with almost like a what do I want to call that thing? Like a shaft, like a staff.
I do have a staff.
Yeah, like tapping it into the ground. Like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
I have always been that, but this is who I am, and I am taking complete ownership of who I am.
And you have just affirmed it.
Mm. Yeah, wow. So interesting. And so, as you always say, isn't life so fun? Isn't life so interesting?
Yeah.
And it is if we choose to look at it like that.
And I happen to be wearing a necklace that is a Buddha.
Ah,
Somebody gave it to me years and years ago. And for some reason, it's been in a little drawer, and I just remembered it.
ooh,
And
that's beautiful.
yeah, isn't it beautiful?
Yeah, is it carved out of something? What is it? What's it made of?
It's either obsidian or what's the other?
Onyx?
Yeah.
It's black, pretty black.
Yeah. Wow, beautiful. That's lovely. Well, and so going back to just that quick, how life can change so quickly, and we know that that's true on many aspects, and how precious our human life is because we don't know when we're going to take our next breath. And so it feels to me with, just this whole horrible situation that has just devastated Maui.
Oh, yes.
And while that is horrible and lives were lost and a historic town was decimated, there will rise something out of that. There has to.
Yes.
Always does happen that way. Whenever there is some massive catastrophe like that, there is something that rises out of that. And so I think, while I just, we all feel horrible and would do whatever we could do to send help to the people that are trying to figure it all out that are left over there, it's also to remember, not to be the victim in that.
And to remember, Katie, that Mother Earth has been so devastated by us humans that she really, really is hurting. So I think we need to, maybe just in our visualizations or whatever, take her like we would one of our babies and sit in the rocker and rock her. Let her know that we love her, that Mother Earth has been here for us forever,
Right.
and she will be. But this whole thing in Maui is very devastating to her.
And I do love the fact that the banyan tree survived.
Oh yeah.
I wonder I don't even know how old that banyan tree is, but it got a little scorched, but I believe it's going to be okay. So life is interesting and
Isn't
full
it though?
all the time.
And to pay attention excuse me, for us to pay attention to it is really important.
And so how would you suggest or offer for people who live that busy life? They're always on the go. They got kids in school. They're taking them back and forth. They got sports. All the things that we do. How do you suggest for people to have a moment? Like, what's where do we go? How do we remember to have a moment to pay attention when we're so busy and we can be so scattered?
Well, one of the things that is just the little things that we can do for Mother Earth, like recycling the trash. These are not important things, but they are important things. If we can do the little things that are available to us, which present themselves, if we're looking for them, and then do them and not continue to do the things that are disruptive to what Mother Earth can do about all this.
Yeah, I remember at the beginning of COVID, and also listening to Zach Bush, who had that great interview with you at the very beginning of our conversation together, who was all about replenishing the soil of Mother Earth. And if any of you guys that are listening have not followed Dr. Zach Bush, you might want to. He's got some really, really great stuff out there about replenishing the soil and how that is going to help not only the health of the planet, but it is also going to help the health of every human being on the planet, because our lives depend on the health of the soil. So just that everybody in the beginning of COVID started growing gardens. And that was just such a beautiful way to, one little act is kind of like recycling, or it's like, composting, is having a little garden that maybe you just have tomatoes. Like, who cares? At least you're paying attention to something that has to do with the earth.
You become aware and then do something about it. That's what's happening to you now, Katie. You're becoming aware of new opportunities, and you're doing something about it. I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you. And look at you. You are, I mean, again, massive action happened by you in the last 2 years.
It's amazing, isn't it? Wow.
I mean, when you would talk to me about writing and having a session with, what is her name?
Shandika.
And having a writing session, and it was like using your brain in a way that you hadn't used it in a long time, and it was exhausting.
Yeah.
Like, that is massive action, and look at the fruition of that massive action about speaking your voice, putting that stake in the ground, saying, here I am, and this is what I have to say. And look at what it's doing. It's really reaching so many people.
Yeah, it's pretty neat, actually. Currently, I think the tally is it's being published in 20 countries and 9 languages.
Wow, that is so amazing.
And we have upcoming Italy, the Netherlands, and Turkey that we need to sign as soon as we can.
Wow, that is so amazing. And yeah, that is just so amazing. And even like, as little as it is over here on my little corner of the world, I'm sharing your book with my patients. One of my patients on Monday said, I absolutely loved that book. And I have a list of all these people that I'm going to send it to, and she's going to make orders and send them to. She was like, it's just so well put together, and it's just the messages are so easy, and it's combining Eastern, Western, all the things, and it's, she just couldn't speak more highly of your book.
Well, it's there for a reason, like everything else has a reason. My voice has got a reason. But it's the whole process of life as it flows is awesome.
Yeah, it's just, it is so, it's pretty amazing. Pretty darn amazing. So sending, there's so many ways to send help to Maui too. I just want to circle back to that, because I know that I follow a bunch of different people, and there's some really great ways to send love and support out to Maui. So, however anybody can help, go for it. And or do your prayers and your visualization. Like you said, I love that. Put Mother Earth in there.
Yep.
Yeah, so good. So I want to ask you, how are you doing with, you're done with stem cell? Because I know that's been a big topic and people love to know how you're doing.
As of 3 days ago, I began seeing color again.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding. It's been 3 months, I think, since I started this whole process. But I was knitting on this washcloth,
Yep.
and I thought it
Hold
was
up a little higher.
I
There you
I
go.
thought it was all tan, but look at it.
That is not tan.
Nope. And the other morning, I woke up and I thought, where did this come from? You know? And then I realized that as I was looking around the room, I was beginning to see color. So I think that what has happened is that the stem cells, you know, life takes time to grow. And they've been settling themselves into my eyes. And just the other day, got well enough or is positioned enough or something
Right.
that it opened up the way that my right eye can now see this color.
It was really quite amazing because the day before the cloth had been tan, and then in the morning she was able to identify all of the colors correctly. It was just really something. You know, this is green, this one's here, this is red, and this is dark tan, and this is dark brown, and it was really something, a shift, really a remarkable shift from tan to all the differences. It's really amazing to me.
That is really amazing. And I don't ever remember, I mean, we've never had that conversation. I knew that you had not the best vision in your right eye, and you had said that that had come back a little bit, but I never knew that there was a color component to that visual.
And I know. and here it is now. It's not complete, but it's a start, you know. So
Oh,
yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
And it seems to be allowing her to identify. It seems to be increasing not just the color acuity, but also the acuity of light and the ability to recognize shapes and forms and so on.
Yeah, I can
better.
begin to see features now.
Yeah. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so cool. So I'm sure the doctor that has been doing administering, like I mean, there's got to be some research that is going on using you as the research subject, being 102 and seeing what's possible
Right.
with, you know, regeneration of the body.
Yeah, and particularly with the amount of damage that has been in my eyes.
Yeah, that is just so amazing. So, are you going to have any more, or are you going to do just
No.
this and like wait a year? And
I'm going to watch what's happening now, you know.
This was the third set
Yeah.
that she just finished. So
wait, so she said you've had 3
infusions.
treatments, right? And when was the last one?
2 weeks ago.
No, I think it's more. It had to be more like a month ago because
Okay.
I'd been here 2 weeks, and it was before I
Okay.
got here.
I was thinking,
So about a month ago, maybe, and then
Okay.
the others were 3 months and
At
5
least.
months ago.
Yeah.
Something like that.
wow, that is just so awesome.
It
Yeah,
is.
it really is amazing.
And it's in process. You know, that's what's so exciting about life. You know, unless we get it stuck in a certain place like this, eyes of mine, you know, they've been stuck so that I couldn't see with my right eye, see these things. And then now it's coming back. And so we'll see where it goes.
And so, I mean, that, not that we need to have any other things happen, because that is pretty miraculous, but are you noticing anything else within just your joints and how you're moving and, you know, that kind of thing?
Well,
How
it's my body is shifting. So yes, I notice things and then I think, oh, that's interesting. And then it's not there, but it is there. But that's the way life is, you know.
Right.
And so I'm in the process of finding what it is. And, you know, it's like I've said, I lost my eyesight, but it didn't do anything but improve my insight.
Mm.
So it's the ability, I think, that we all have of going beyond our stuck places to where the light takes us into the future. And if that isn't the most exciting thing in the world, I don't know what is.
Right. Well, and just the way that you can describe that and put that into words so that it's relatable is such a beautiful gift. And that is the gift of, you know, your ability to speak and put your thoughts forward, because, you know, it's just when you can put it together that way, that makes it relatable for everybody. And they're like, oh yeah, you're right. Life is pretty amazing. And yeah.
It's
So.
the L with that is understanding, you know.
Listen.
Of the 5 L's,
Right.
the listening L is understanding.
Mm.
You know, not the empty gong, it's the understanding. Because you listen.
And in this case, listen to yourself, it sounds
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
so
sometimes you have to listen to your kids.
Go, Mom, go.
exactly. Well, you certainly, you know, have created such a life for yourself that you have that beautiful support by all of your grown children now that will come and, you know, put their life on the back burner so they can help you bring yours forward. I mean, it's all sort of, we do that for one another. Like, it's kind of like, I just had the visual of like hot frogs hopping over one another. Like, you take the lead. Okay, now it's your turn. You take the lead. And, you know, we just sort of keep supporting each other as we're moving forward.
Isn't that wonderful what love does?
Yeah.
And how it allows us to see the opportunities within the life process. Because how could Bob and I and John and I ever imagine having this precious time together?
Right.
You know, at this age. So life is awesome.
So Joseph just said, thank you for your, wait, hold on, let me get to it. Thank you for your book. It makes for an amazing gift. Already given 2 as birthday gifts.
That's nice. Thank you, Joseph.
And Linda is saying, what a lovely, caring son you have, Dr. Gladys.
Linda may not know him, but yes, thank you.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Well, I am just so excited about that. I can't. That is just so great. So I am going to continue to ask you because you're not forthcoming with that. You hadn't shared that with me. But I mean, I recognize it just happened a couple days ago, but I'm so glad I asked. So anyway, I think with that, we should sign off and say goodbye to everybody, and we will be back next Tuesday.
Absolutely, unless creek rises and the
sun don't shine or something.
Okay, hold on. We got people talking right now. So somebody said her book is filled with beautiful insights. Somebody else said, be glad is the only advice I give now. Love it.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Bob, for holding the phone.
You're welcome.
Bob, for holding the phone.
You bet.
All right, everybody. I love you. I love you, Gladys.
I love you.
Bob. Thank you for being there. And we will reconvene. And just thanks for working that through with me, my new transition. I really appreciate your insight on that and just being able to, you know, talk that through with you. So thank you so much.
And be able, Katie, the beauty of it is that you have shared it with all of us, you know, and allowed us to see the grace with which you're moving into your future, which you know not of.
Correct. All right. Well, with that, I just wish for you a colorful, colorful rest of your week.
We got it.
I love you both. And so, Bob, you are going to hit X on the top, and then we'll stay on the phone so I can remind you how you do the rest of it.
Perfect.